So mate, you had this thing for the best part of what? 4 months now?
4 months, I suppose.
I know you've done a lot of riding on the thing. Pretty happy about it, but why don't you sort of take it through? I guess even going from sort of front to rear on the thing, what you've done, the mods you've made, what parts you put on it, and kind of why. I guess based on that experience that you had with the thing.
Well, the first time I rode it, I actually hadn't done anything. I rode it completely standard for quite a while actually, I just learned a few things that I wanted to change and went through the process of, hey, I'm having a little bit of an issue with this or that, but okay, we'll start at the front if you like. So the Pirelli tyre I had on the front, I used it for a while and I didn't know if I was in love with it or not, and I know the MX-32 is a good thing, so I've worn out a few tyres now, but I've just put a MX-32 back on the front and I'm running Moose.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the stuff we do is quite rocky and technical, and it's just another thing you don't have to worry about. So got it in there. The fork is actually kind of a funky fork in a way. It's very, very plush, but there's not a lot of adjustments. You have a bit of preload on this side, which I've added a little bit of preload, not much. But basically it's standard, and in many ways it's probably a bit on the soft side. But for many reasons, it's quite good. I'm at all sorts of speeds. Anyway, so I haven't changed much in the fork, and there is a lot available for this in up-speccing it, you could say. Yeah. But pretty happy. Handlebar bend I thought was great, so I had no issues at all with that. I've busted, this is my own little setup here, so I've thrown it down the road.
A little tallow bracket.
I have crashed this thing plenty, but where we ride and everything, and over the time, so I've bent this, broken one straight, another one of those, put an alloy one on because I had it. But these are the standard guards, but not that bracket. Oh yeah, so this, well, I'm pretty fussy where my levers sit, and just with this particular handguard I put on there and everything, I just thought, I'll remove this thing. It was a bit wide, and you can live with it. It's just for me. I'm pretty damn fussy like that. So I just put a simple stop on there and go on this side like you'd expect. But basically the controls are nice, the brakes are really nice. I had a bit of an issue with the rear, which maybe if we're working back I'll get to there. As I said, I've thrown it down the road a few times. I have broken this shroud and done a little bit of a band-aid fix at the back of it with a bit of steel, so I'm just trying to not tax it too much, but at the same time I've certainly done plenty of hard sort of single track riding.
Like we do. Sub 100 kilos, so when it falls on a task it doesn't crash your radiator.
I haven't been any radiators, it's definitely survived, haven't had any issues at all there.
Okay.
The motor, it's something that I've been a little bit interested in for a while because I have ridden the earlier ones. I've ridden all the bikes and I really like the earlier cross trainer, and that was before they put the counterbalancer in, but I still liked it, but this thing's even a bit better again. Yeah. And I was fascinated with the sort of the way the motor developed its power. It's so smooth and so sort of, its strength is right down low, and a lot of people, that's where they ride, and you can get out of corners really smoothly and quickly, and so I was really impressed with it, and it had the funkiest pipe ever on it, and I honestly thought that a lot of it was to do with the pipe.
Shows that thing.
It's tiny, like compared to like the volume, not so much the volume here, but the volume down here.
The RR pipe of the RR.
This is the RR pipe, and I'd heard you could put it on there, and my immediate thing was, no, I wouldn't want to do that because there's something really good about this bike in the bottom end, and I think it's all in the pipe. Anyway, I was wrong. I wished I'd tried the pipe earlier, but I've had it for quite some time. But yeah, this, there's obviously a lot of other good things that come into making this engine what it is: smooth, easy to ride down low. It's probably in the head and the porting and different things like that. They've done a great job in my opinion on that. It's a very easy bike to ride. By putting this pipe on it, it didn't detract at all. It really just gives it more over-rev and power, more mid-range.
I was going to say, so it doesn't take away from your bottom end, so it's still in the extreme stuff, but it gives you, if you want to do 4th, 5th gear, high speed stuff, it's better.
If anything, you'd say, this bike is really easy to ride and you can get out of corners quick, and it's smooth, and that's its strength. it's still smooth, it still does all that.
Yeah.
You can ride it slow and everything, but it's just got more. So yeah, I really liked it. And there's a resonance chamber, I think they call it, on this side, which
I'll grab the little space there. You took out of it, eh?
Yeah. So I heard about this too, and I don't totally understand how it all works or why, but it's obviously to do with the head and the porting area of the cylinder and stuff like that. So it's a volume related thing, and I heard you could take it out, so you got to find some shorter bolts. But I tried the standard pipe with it in and out, and with it out, I seem to prefer it. It seemed to give it a little bit more liveliness, and then with the pipe, the RR pipe on there, it really really livens it up. And if you take this out again, it just seems to add a little bit more.
When you say livens up, it gives you more instantaneous throttle response, but it doesn't make it too aggressive at the same time. It just gives you more response.
Yeah, the bike was incredibly smooth and strong, and I think a lot of people don't realise how in many ways power can be the enemy. And when you feel like you're on top of this bike and you can just open the throttle so much earlier than well, it's not that much, but coming into a corner, here's the apex. People come in and then go out. When you can come in here and drive around the corner, you can go, well, you can actually ride this thing quite fast, or very fast. Like with the mates that I ride with, the first time I rode with them, I could ride away from them. They're all going, "Well, you're riding this thing quick." It depends a little bit on the terrain, but depends. Like I'm lucky enough to have a few bikes at the moment. I've got a 450 WR, and I love it. And I'm probably quickest on that in a general sense, but it depends on the track. This bike, obviously, if there's a lot of turns, it's so light, this bike, and that's probably one of the first impressions you get. Is it's like a toy,
Yeah.
It's like I'm going to say it's like a 5% scaled down bike that's very light. You really notice that.
20% lower seat height.
Yeah, the thing you just feel in charge. It's like, well, the thing goes pretty good. Its strength is in its smoothness of power, but a lot too.
And didn't you couple with the pipe and the taking that resonating chamber space trailer? Didn't you shorten the gearing? I think you went to a 13.
Yeah. Well, at first the bike was a bit. I mean, it's not like a fire breather. So I was going, okay, where do I go from here? I think it's we ride a lot of single tracks, so I think it's a bit over geared, and have 14 on the front, and that's traditional with a lot of things. I thought, is that a compliance gearing? I'm just going to try a 13. So I tried a 13, and for me it worked better, so I didn't ever want to go back. The very first time I rode it too, it came with a 120 rear tyre, mid-soft 120, and
Scorpion XC mid-soft, I think.
End up going to that, and everything was pretty good, but I feel like a lot of people over tyre bikes, and when you're turning a lot, it just makes the bike feel a bit more nimble, and I just feel like it works better, smaller tyres.
Yeah.
It's sort of a new thing. Everyone's going to 120s, and even in the race team days, all our guys tried 120s, went back to 110s. And this is theoretically, even though it's a 302 stroke AK thing, is it powerful? No, it's not that powerful, but I just felt like the tyre was in charge a bit too much, so I went to a 110 and I liked it. It seemed a bit better, and to me it suits this bike a bit better.
Yeah, moose in there as well.
Yeah, I got moose both ends. Yeah, so it's just a great all round. It's a very smooth, easy bike to ride. I had a bit of an issue with a powerful rear brake. I don't like it, and I often go to solid.
I don't think I've ever seen one of your bikes without
a
solid rear disc, mate. But it's an interesting disc, thicker, bigger. Look where the pads
are. Well, it's I got it from Beta, and it's I was surprised when I got it. I mean, we sell a solid rear disc for a lot of bikes, not a Beta, but out there thicker too. They're often a bit thicker. So this is about 1 millimetre thicker, but the thing that's unusual about this one is it's about 10 millimetres. The pad doesn't touch, on the outer diameter of the disc, and there's about 10 millimetres of spare.
Yeah.
It's weird, but then I thought, why would they do that? And I think it's all to do with, maybe the pro-end guy who's a real brake dragger, which we had the same problems in our sort of race team with really full-on aggro sort of, guys. So I put it on. Obviously I had no trouble with overheating or anything like that, and I just like personally for me, it's more. I am a bit of a brake dragger, but I'm more of a, I just don't like a powerful rear brake. I don't want to be scared to touch that thing. I want to be able to feel.
Especially because you're riding, there's a lot in extreme stuff, so you really want that.
Yeah,
feel.
just even as general, we've got a lot of granite around here too, and when it's wet, it's great. It's got a lot of traction, and it's actually pretty slippery when it's dry.
I want to ask you about oil injection, because they, I think they added that. I want to say, for 2020 when they did a whole revamp of this, this both the RR models and this. I mean, I only got new graphics for this year, but oil injection was something they introduced. Have you found that as an owner convenient?
Well, I didn't ride the other ones enough to even know any of that. I didn't know, but I've heard that. So I mean, it's simple. It's got this great little button to get the seat off. I think everyone should do that. But the other thing is I put a lighter battery in it. It came with the normal one, and I just like these lithium lightweight, and because it's up high, I just thought, hey, this bike's light. Everything's good about it. I might as well make it even lighter. But you stick the oil in here. It's pretty simple, and if it gets a bit low, it tells you on the dash. So.
And that's good for what? At least a few tanks worth?
Yeah.
A few fuel tanks
worth?
Yeah,
at least, and it's probably got 2 tanks in reserve. I would imagine they've probably overkilled that area. The tanks that it comes back in here, it's a tiny tank. Well, it's actually probably a little bigger.
Yeah.
There's a bit down low. It's carby, so it's they're feeding it straight off the bottom there, but they run a bit low. Look, I think it's about 9 litres. I'm not totally sure, but it runs wherever we go with the other guys. It's not like, hey, this thing's the thing that's holding us back and we can't go any further. So it seems to be good that way. But it's all, to me, all this works pretty damn good. That's how you put the seat on. So I don't know if there's much else I've done.
Not a lot. I know that they do offer an 8mm bash plate. I think that AXP thing that they do through the
more
parts
protection.
catalogue, but the one it comes with seems pretty good.
It's not a mud catcher or anything like that. I mean, it isn't super thick, but I'm sure the other one gives a lot more protection. They usually,
I think that comes back a bit.
Might even come under the link like a lot of the AXP do. But I haven't run any more protection, radiators or anything, and as I said, I've certainly put it through its paces for some time and crashed it here and there, just getting in awkward positions and throwing it off a big rock or something. But
I've seen some footage of you doing that actually, mate.
Oh it's been through the wars and it's held up. Look, it's a pretty good looking bike. I haven't really had any issues, so it's I like it. It's pretty decent.
Word on the street is you're looking to add it to the portfolio of machinery.
I'm going to ask him if he'll sell it. So it depends. He hasn't asked for when he wants it back, mate. We'll just keep it and just
see what happens.
About it.